This is Gamer Weekly, bringing you the latest of what the video game scene has to offer. On today's episode of Gamer Weekly, I have Anton from Pixel Knight, and we're going to be talking about their game, Empathy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gamer Weekly. With me today is Anton of Pixel Knight. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Hi there, Justin. Thanks for having me.
We totally weren't talking 20 minutes prior, but you know what? We'll act like it's, different.
Yep, just pretend here.
So, the latest game that you guys are working on right now is Empathy. What is Empathy?
Right, Empathy is an adventure game at its core similar to other titles on the market, such as Vanishing of Ethan Carter, Firewatch, and all that. It's a first-person, story-driven experience with puzzles, with a wicked science-based story, taking place in a post-apocalyptic world, in a sense, where emotions are mangled and changed, and the game is exploring how the society adapts to living in this kind of post-apocalyptic emotional world, and shows different socioeconomic classes, how they act, how they try to survive, how they interact with each other.
So what exactly do you do in the game? Is it puzzle based, or like what exactly are we looking for, like gameplay wise?
Gameplay wise, we have a little bit different approach to storytelling, where you have to kind of change the world as you progress through it, picking up the story clues, and the world will adapt to the story as it progresses, slightly changing around you. So that is our core driving mechanic, this kind of interactive storytelling. And you will be stumbling, of course, upon different kind of puzzles, typical ones for adventure games. Figure out how to unlock this door, find out how to start this machine, find out the secret entrance, and so on and so forth. And to your help, you will have a kind of a special trinket that helps you finding those anomalies that lead you to story clues in the world, kind of scanner that helps you locating them and then unraveling them in order to enter someone else's memory and to explore the story from that person's perspective.
Because you pointed for some other games too, where it was the Vanishing of Ethan Carter and Firewatch. Is it very similar to kind of like how this term is like the quote unquote walking simulator thing?
Well, the walking simulators are actually quite interesting, because on one end we have stuff like Dear Esther, properly that is what you'd call as the original walking simulator, which I thought was a really cool experience. But we wanted to take it a step further, and we have lots of interaction and puzzles in our game, so it's not purely story-based experience, but it's still very story-heavy compared to, say, games like Myst, where you have, just brain-wrecking puzzle on puzzle on puzzle, rather than those silent moments filled with story.
Because I feel like it's weird kind of how the adventure genre of games have kind of evolved over time, because I would say at the beginning of adventure games, there was definitely a lot of them where they would punish you if you just were not paying attention and picking up every single item that you possibly could see, because it would just get you stuck into a dead end. And then like most of them just have really fucking bizarre puzzles that you were just like, how was I supposed to know how to do that?
Oh yeah, I recall such kind of puzzles. Like combine the rubber ticket with the rocket to open the safe. How am I supposed to sync that one out? I was a huge fan of actually point-and-click games when I was younger, especially Russian ones that nobody heard of, but also Monkey Island, which is a classic. And I think that the current games are more of an evolvement of that kind of genre, where they really wanted to tell an interesting story rather than focus the player on the puzzles, and the puzzles were just a medium to fill the time in the story, because Monkey Island is still a very humorous story-based game. So is, say, Grim Fandango. You just have the puzzles to get to that story, and the more advanced mechanics we have to our disposal in terms of telling the story, cinematics, really cool first-person animations, really immersive graphics, the more we focus on storytelling through those tools rather than focusing on the puzzles to fill the void.
Yeah, because I actually just played through Grim Fandango and The Day of the Tentacle, and I've noticed that most of the time when I was playing it, I was using a walkthrough because I couldn't figure out anything for the life of me. And I'm like, is everybody just a little bit smarter back then, or am I just really dumb? Like, I don't really know what's I don't really know what's going on.
It's really interesting discussions there because I kind of feel the same when I'm playing older games right now. It's just such a different mentality. So I guess the expectations from the games change so much that you don't really think in the same kind of terms required for the solutions to the older problems, maybe.
So this was a discussion that we were having before we started recording. You guys brought empathy to PAX, and you guys were getting feedback and stuff for the game. And one of the puzzles that you guys had didn't exactly go as planned. So
Yeah, that one. As I was telling you, we had a challenge which requires the player to repair the breach in order to proceed in the game. And visually it was represented by a broken breach with a gap in it. So most players just walked up to it, saw the gap, and realized that, okay, I need to do something here, because there were obvious cues that, okay, this is a puzzle, you need to do something. But then we had a couple of players that just approached the gap, looked at it, and simply jumped over it, which we never accounted for in the testing, because we never considered that, hey, there is a second kind of solution to this kind of things.
So how did you guys fix that issue?
Well, obviously we simply made the gap bigger in that particular case, but we have a different kind of challenge in front of us with this similar kind of different attitudes where, as I've been telling you, you have these gadgets that helps you detecting anomalies in the world, helping you, guiding you around the world. And what we noticed is that this gadget is placed to the side of your screen. Have you played Stalker?
That's the one that's set in like Chernobyl, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have played that one.
In that game, you also have kind of like a widget helping you detect dangerous places. But the point is that the widget is like really to your side, and it was working as a kind of X-ray vision. So you simply point it somewhere and you say, okay, there is something of interest to me. And we noticed that some players, they were using the gadget as we intended, as an X-ray vision, but some were actually thinking that it's the intended interaction with the item. So instead of clicking on the item with a crosshair, they were trying to aim at it with this gadget. So then we were stuck with this kind of user interaction problem, where we couldn't convey the message obvious enough on how to use this gadget in game. So users were a little bit confused on what the gadget was used for.
So what were some of the other feedback that you got from it? Like, what were the good and the bad that you could take away from an experience like PAX?
Well, the good was obviously seeing the players actually playing our games and how they approach different problems and solutions that they come up with. Because of the varying background and experience of the gamers, we had some kids trying to play our game. He was actually the one who just jumped over the gap. And then we had some older people, 50 plus, who played our game. And they all had very different experience behind them, and they played the game very differently. How they looked at the world, how they explored the world, how they just approached the problems. And some of the feedback we've been getting is how they experience the story, because the older generations, they were really used to more linear storytelling, where in games such as Monkey Island, you just follow a story. And in our game, as you unravel the world, the story is presented in the non-linear fashion. So you kind of have to piece together it in the right order, which was confusing to some players, and which we are addressing right now by introducing a journal in which you can read all the stories that you've discovered in chronological order. At the same time, we had another interesting feedback in the space orientation. This X-ray gadget that I spoke to you about earlier, some people found that it was too difficult to triangulate the item's position through the X-ray vision, because they couldn't quite map it out on the 3D space how it worked. For me, for example, it comes very natural that when I have some kind of X-rays, that I know, okay, the item is simply somewhere in front of me. I don't know how close or how far it is. But for some players, they deduced that the item was right next to them. And this is also something that we're trying to tackle right now.
So it's so the game's coming out on, is it just PC or is it consoles as well?
We are targeting PC and Mac to begin with. Maybe Linux. I know that the engine we are using, Unreal 4, has capabilities for Linux release, so we might include it in the original release. And then we'll be looking into the console release probably after summer, whenever we have time to catch up with everything that will come from PC release, you know.
So, because I've noticed too, for especially a lot of the people that I've had on the show previous, is that a lot of people use the Unreal Engine 4. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you guys use that engine?
Well, it's a great engine, really. For me as a designer, it offers lots of visual support. I personally tried Unity before, and usually, you know, my to-go motto with Unity versus Unreal is that in Unity you press one button, it works. In Unreal you press one button, it looks good. Obviously, there is strengths to both of the engines, and Unity is much more programmer-focused engine, I would say, where you can, where with ease you can create stuff from scratch. In Unreal, it requires a little bit more effort, but it offers you a great toolbox of stuff for visual scripting, for design of the materials, for lighting, for behavior scripting in the game, especially gameplay scripting, where in Unity you kind of have to develop your own tools or buy some third-party add-ons for scripting. So overall, for me personally, Unreal was an obvious solution for all the tools it offered, and most of our team had already experience with Unreal in terms of Unreal Development Kit, the Unreal 4 predecessor, which we actually started to developing the first prototype of the game in. Then Unreal 4 came along, and we thought that, hey, we're not that long into the development, so let's just take the dive and switch, which was great for us. It really improved our workflow and, you know, our productivity. And then we have lots of third-party support for Unreal as well, such as Speed 3, Instance Designer, different stuff for physics, dozens and dozens of plugins that make the development so much easier.
So it makes it easier, and also it looks really nice. And I feel like, because I actually had to upgrade my computer just so I can play a lot of the games coming out, because I noticed that everybody was using Unreal Engine 4, and for some reason my computer was only really wanting to play Unreal Engine 3. So I was like, all right, it's time to up it up a little bit and see where I can go. And now I have probably the best computer I've ever bought in my entire life. So
yeah, I actually had to upgrade my graphic card as well, just to be able to multitask more. I recently got a third screen because, you know, when you do a level editing, you really want to have all the panels available, like the level window, the content browser, the material editor, all that kind of stuff, and you don't really want to be out-tabbing. So I couldn't quite sit on my old graphics card and update it. But yeah, absolutely, Unreal 4 is a little bit more demanding on the graphical side and on the technical side. But at the same time, it really depends how heavy the game is. You can surely make mobile games and games for older computers as well. You'll just have to scale back everything. But most developers want to take advantage of everything that Unreal offers. So you sometimes go all out.
And then make something that just completely destroys the computer.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. We went overboard with particles in our level first, which kind of sunk the performance, so we had to scale it down a little bit. I mean, it looked gorgeous, but what use is that when most of your users can't run it?
Right. Yeah. No. So what graphics card did you upgrade to? Just stuff.
Right now I have GTX 1060. I was sitting on GTX 770 before, which couldn't quite run three screens at the same time any longer.
Because I actually went the other route where it was like I had a 760 and I went to a Radeon 470, and even
Oh
then,
yeah?
I was like, even then, I'm like, this is obviously much better than it doesn't quite play absolutely everything on Ultra, but about like 98% of everything plays on Ultra. So like I could I played like The Witcher 3 on Ultra, and I was like, holy crap, here we go. And then I had a couple things that I had to turn down. I was like,
Oh
no,
man,
can't.
Witcher 3 is probably one of my whole favorite games, together with Witcher 1. I also upgraded partly the cards just so I can play it on Ultra on 1400 resolution. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, like I only have a 1080 display, so like I was like, ah man, I would love to see this in like 4K or something, but I know that my computer would be like, no, it's not that good. You gotta take a couple steps back from that one. So
Yeah, but it still looks great on. I was playing it 1080 as well, and on high resolution. And I mean, I am really impressed on what they done with the world and details in the game world because it felt so alive, so detailed everywhere.
I thought the mission where you had to attract the goat, like with the bell, I thought that was a little weird, but like I get it. Like it was like, all right, cool, we're just trying to be funny right now. It's like, okay, cool, I can roll with that. That's fine. Um,
Yeah. I mean, there's one mission where you literally, spoilers, talking to your horse. So it has its moments, but I kind of appreciate it taking a break from all the grim stuff of the world and just relaxing with some humor.
it felt like I was playing like at times a fan-made Game of Thrones game, which is not a bad thing. Like, because the actual Game of Thrones game is terrible, so someone else has got to make the better Game of Thrones game. So even if it's not officially licensed as that.
Yeah, I still Witcher has still a few dozen deaths left to go before it can really come to the Game of Thrones level, but hey, close enough.
It Yeah, there's still a lot of plot, I guess we would call it. That's Game of Thrones is very famous for, I guess. So there's that. Also, it's really grim, very very bloody
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
So, but yeah. So concerning empathy, so like if somebody out there wants to learn more about your guys' game, where would be the best place to go?
Well, we obviously have our own homepage for that, empathygame.org, with links to our Steam page. We already have a store page up with coming soon. We are aiming releasing sometime before the summer. So that will be the best place, I guess.
All right. So yeah, definitely check out Empathy. You can find it on Steam. Add it to your wish list. And when is the game coming out?
Yeah, we haven't set the exact day yet. We are still deciding on that one with our publisher. But I said some months before summer. So either March or April, somewhere around that.
So hopefully March or April is when the game will come out. You can check out a trailer on their website, and yeah, go check out the game. It looks pretty awesome, and we'll hopefully get to play it in March or April. If not, you'll find out if you add it to your wish list. They'll tell you when exactly the game is coming out. Anton, thank you so much for coming onto the show, and thank you everybody out there listening. If you want to check it out on other platforms, we're on SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes, and Podcast Addict as well if you include iTunes. So it kind of counts, Um,
Awesome. I'm actually going to check out all the other episodes as well and just see who else have been on. And yeah, thanks, Justin, for having me. Really been great talking to you.
Fantastic. And also, yes, check out the other episodes as well for everybody else out there, because all the other developers are really awesome as well and deserve just as much attention as everybody else. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.